Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. We are doing maths here, and this video is about verifying shaded regions or proving if the shaded region is the correct one. So let's get right into it. We start with the first example, where our inequation is y is less than or equal to x plus 2. As in our previous video, before we sketch the graph of an inequality, the first step is to change the inequality sign to equal sign, and that's that. We change the inequality sign to equal sign. So this gives us an equation, y equals x plus 2. I put a note here. Y equals x plus 2 comes in the form of y equals mx plus c. Now this is a standard form for a straight line graph, where m here is the gradient or the slope of the straight line, and c here is the y-intercept. So the previous video, we've used table of values to plot our points and draw our graph, which is the straight line. For now, we are going to just use the x-intercept and the y-intercept to plot our straight line. So here we are. How do we find the x-intercept and the y-intercept? Well, let's look at our x-intercept. So the x-intercept, as the meaning of the word intercept kind of means like cut. For example, you are telling a story with some friends, and then someone just intercept and just cuts in and disturb your story, and then just started with his or her story. So this x-intercept is a point on the x-axis, a point anywhere on the x-axis where your straight line graph cuts. This point right here is the x-intercept, and the y-intercept is a point on the y-axis where the straight line that you will draw cuts. So x-intercept is you can say the cutting point on the x-axis, and the y-intercept is the cutting point on the y-axis. What thing cuts the axis? It's the straight line that you get from your equation. I hope that's clear. So how do we find the x-intercept? To find the x-intercept, you see this is the x-axis, and the x-axis cuts the y at 0. So the y must be 0 in order to find the x-intercept. And so we substitute y equals 0 into our equation up there to find our x-intercept. And here it goes. So y equals x plus 2 is our equation. When we substitute y for 0, then we find the value of x. We have x plus 2, so to bring the 2 to the other side, making x the subject, we minus 2. Remember, if you want to move from one side of the equation to the other, you must carry out opposite operations. So since we have plus 2 here, we minus 2 on both sides, and so on the left hand side we have 0 minus 2 is negative 2, and on this side we have x, because positive 2 minus 2 gives us 0. So this is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept, and this is the y-coordinate of the x-intercept. So I've written them down here in coordinate form. x is -2 and y is 0. Right, how do we find the y-intercept? It's the opposite of finding the x-intercept. So as you see on this draft here, the point where the line cuts the y is exactly at x equals 0. Where x equals 0, there you have the line, which is the y-axis, and the straight line cuts the y at this point, which aligns with x equals 0. So in order to find that y-intercept, we gotta make x equals 0. And so we substitute x equals 0 into our equation, which is this one. In place of x, we put 0, and y equals 0 plus 2 gives us y equals 2. Take note that this value is the same as that value, which is the c value, and like I said before, the c value represents the y-intercept. So you can either substitute x equals 0 into the equation to find the y-intercept, or you can just take it out from the c value. Only and only when the equation is in this form, where you have y on one side is equals to x plus a number. Right, so the coordinates of the y-intercept are x equals 0 and y equals 2. These 2 points are enough to help us plot our straight line graph. So the next step says plot the intercepts, draw the straight line, and then shade the region for our inequality. Now I have here the Cartesian plane made up of the x-axis and the y-axis. The scales are already marked on the 2 axes. So let's go ahead and plot the 2 points. So our x-intercept is where x equals 0, x equals -2, and y equals 0. So that is this point. Take note, it's the x-intercept, so it should be on the x-axis. And the y-intercept must be on the y-axis, where x is 0 and y is +2. See, these 2 points already gives you a clue to how your line will look like. It will be a positive line. So let's draw our line, but before that we have to decide whether our line will be dotted or bolded. So we look at our inequality sign up there. Since the equal to sign is present, our line is a bolded line, and so we just connect these 2 points and we have our straight line graph for the equation. Take note, equation y equals x plus 2. So that's the straight line for the equation y equals x plus 2. And then we shade the region. And we've learned in the first video that in order to shade, we have 2 options, either above or below the line. So we look at our equation, and you see that you have the less than sign. So you shade the bottom part. Okay, I'm not really shading it because the topic of the lesson says verifying or proving the shaded region. So how do we prove? Okay, just from looking at the less than sign, we already know that we will be shading below the straight line. Now to prove it, we do what we call a point test. We do a point test. So what happens here is we follow these steps. Okay. Step one, we pick up points on either side of the straight line graph. It can be this side or that side. Now you see this point here, this point is called the origin, and the coordinates are 0, x is 0 and y is 0, and this is a nice point. This is a nice point to pick and check our shaded region, because when you substitute 0 into an equation, the calculation is much easier. Okay, so here, pick a point on either side of the straight line. Point 0, 0 is a nice point if it is not on the straight line. Okay, this is another draft of the same graph, and it is shaded already. This one is not shaded yet, but we are going to prove if this is the right side to shade. And okay, we have picked the point 0, 0, the origin. Step 2 says substitute the point into the inequation and check if the equality should be inequality, and check if the inequality is true or false. All right, let's do it together. So our inequality is y is less than or equal to x plus 2. Now this is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate. Both of them are 0. So y is 0, less than or equals to x is also 0 plus 2. That makes 0 is less than or equals to 2. Okay, look at this statement. 0 is less than 2. That is a true statement. Now if you think of this equal sign, the symbol means less than or equal to, which means you either select one of them. If one of them is true, then the statement is true. Now we have 0 is less than 2 and it is true. So that means if the inequality statement is true, then the selected point 0, 0 is in the shaded region. So the side where we picked the point 0, 0, that will be the part or the side that we shade. Now you see point 0, 0 is below the line, and so we were correct when we said we will shade this part because of the less than sign in our inequality. So again, the shaded region comes from the inequality y is less than or equal to x plus 2. And the straight line comes from the equation y is equals to x plus 2. Okay, should we try one more example? I think so. Okay, let's do one. Let's say this is example B. Okay, example B, we'll get it from the previous exercise. Where we have y is greater than x minus 3. Okay, y is greater than x minus 3. Alright, again we make the greater than sign because less than sign, x minus 3. And from this you can see that y equals x minus 3 is in the form y equals mx plus c, where c is the y-intercept of the straight line and m is the slope. Okay, a hint, since the slope is positive here, there's a hidden 1 in front of this x here. Since it's positive, our line should be looking like this. It should go in this direction because the slope is positive. Okay, we are going to draw the graph just by finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So let's do it. Let's find the x-intercept. Again, to find the x-intercept, we substitute y equals 0 because the x line cuts y at exactly 0, so y must be 0 in order to find the x-intercept. So let's substitute y equals x minus 3. Our y is 0. So to bring this 3 to the other side, we have minus 3, and therefore we plus 3 on both sides, and so we have 3 equals x, giving us the coordinates of x equals 3 and y equals 0. Let's do the same for the y-intercept. So we find y-intercept by substituting x equals 0. Again, the y-axis cuts the x-axis exactly at 0, and therefore we substitute x equals 0 into the equation. So let's do it. Y equals x minus 3. X is 0. So y equals 0 minus 3, which gives y equals negative 3. And once again, y equals negative 3 is the same as negative 3 here, which is the c value. Like I said before, the c gives us the y-intercept, the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. So the coordinates of the y-intercept is x equals 0 and y equals negative 3. Okay, let's go ahead and plot. So let's draw our y-axis and our x-axis, this is the x-axis, that's the y-axis. See the coordinates, the highest number on the x should be positive 3, and on y the lowest number should be negative 3. So take note of that while you draw your scales. Okay, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, mark the scales. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So let's plot the x-intercept. X-intercept is where x is 3 and y is 0. And again, x-intercept is the cutting point on the x-axis. And the y-intercept is where x is 0 and y is negative 3. And again, the y-intercept is the cutting point on the y-axis. And now we'll just connect these 2 points and draw our line. But before that, there are 2 types of lines for an inequality. So let's look at our inequality symbol. We have y is greater than, there's no equal to sign present. So that means our line is a dotted or broken line. So let's draw it. A broken line or dotted line, which comes from the equation y is equal to x minus 3. And then we shade the region. Now, if we look at the inequality sign, it's greater than, so it shows us that we will be shading the top part of the graph. We'll be shading this part, the top part. Okay, since we are talking about verifying and proving the side which has to be shaded, let's prove it by doing a point test. Okay, again we select a point either on that side or this side of the line. You can pick any point here, or you can pick any point there. And like I said, point 0, 0 is a nice point because 0 makes the calculations easy. So okay, let's pick another point. Instead of 0, 0, let's pick this point right here, where x is 3 and y is negative 2. X is 3, y is negative 2. Alright, so we are going to substitute this point into our equation. Take note, to do the point test, we substitute into the equation. Equation, not the equation. The equation is used to give us the line. The equation will be used to give us the shaded region. Alright, let's substitute. So this is x, this is y. Y is negative 2 greater than x is 3. X is 3 minus 3. That gives negative 2 is greater than 0. Negative 2 is greater than 0. That is not true. Negative 2 is less than 0. 0 is greater. So this statement is false, which means this point that we picked is not in the shaded region. It's the other side that is the shaded region. And we confirm by the greater than sign in the inequality, which says we shade the top part. And so we shade the top part. And again, the shaded region comes from the equation y is greater than x minus 3. Okay, summary. To prove which side of the line is the correct shaded region, you pick a point on one side, either below or above, and you substitute into the inequality, and then you see if the statement is true. Then the section or the region where you pick the point, that should be your shaded region. If it is false, then the region where you pick the point is not the shaded region, but the other side is the shaded region. I hope this is clear. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, and press the notification button so that every time I upload a new lesson, you get notified so you can watch it. That is okay. I have to give you some questions to try. Okay, these are the questions from the previous video where we were using the table of values to plot the graphs. You can use the same questions to draw your straight line, but this time you don't use the table of values. You find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, plot the graphs, and this time you proof check which side is the correct shaded region by doing the point test. Alright, get the questions down. Draw the graph using the x and y intercept and shade the region using point test. That is all for now. Again, like and subscribe and hit the notification button for more videos. Until then, see you next time.